We are back on the Rodriguez Show, and we have a special guest here. He's been on a lot of great projects this year, and he's here to give you the Rotten Supreme Truth. This is Eddy Rotten. What's up, man?
What's up?
There we go. Celebrating with some music. How you been, man?
Just been chilling, been good.
Yeah.
Just been doing the same old. Well, not the same old, but like I've been doing a lot of more stuff under wraps.
Yeah.
But learning from the greats, and just been trying to be active, even if it's behind the scenes.
Yeah. But I mean, even you're not even behind the scenes though. You're like more up front as well with all the projects you've been featured on. Well, first you did the collab project with the Eric Young and Mellow Thing OG movie earlier this year. You were on Specs' To the Ones I Lost. You were on Keep Falling, and then you just released Industry. Yeah. Big ass year for you, dude.
Just you know what it is, bro. Like when you're around so many people that like they're inspired every day to want to do music, that want to be better, is like iron sharpens iron. Like really, it is that saying, like iron sharpens iron. Like if you ever do any like combat sports or martial arts, or you do any like competitive sports in general, like you're only gonna get good by the people around you. Like they really push you to that limit. And Eric really did open my eyes to a lot of things that, like, shout out to my boy, bro. Eric Young's a true OG. He's been through it, and that motherfucker a legend already. And there's a reason why, like, he's one of my best friends, and also like that fool is just like, he's on point. He knows how to tell you what it is and what you should do, and just try it out. And he's always been solid in he's never been a yes man. Yeah. And that's what you need a lot of the times, because fuck, I've been in this game so long, and I've seen motherfuckers the ego up to the moon, and it's just like you tell them one little thing, it's like, man, fuck you and your mama, and like it's like, yo, I'm just trying to tell you how to make a better song, and I'm an artist first and foremost. Like, if the song doesn't sound good, then what's the point? Yeah. But no, I mean, how you been, Caesar? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Been good, man. Just doing this. So the last time I saw you was at the Eric Young release event, but the last time I saw you perform was at the Kid Vista release show. How was that?
It's sick, dude. Vista, man, that's my brody. Him, Arthur Caves, like they themselves, like fucking, they on one. But especially Vista, bro. Vista has like, out of everybody I know in OC and in the OC rap, even in the LA rap scene, like the one person that's consistently been grinding is Kid Vista.
It's true, bro.
It's Kid Vista, bro. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, if he has an Adderall prescription, hit your boy up. I need to get him. I don't know how he does it. Yeah, but shout out to Vista. Shout out to Caves. Yeah.
Nice. And then, that was a great performance. And then, so Mellow Thing, I know that you've been working with him a lot. Like, we've probably talked about it in the past, but if you want to remind people, how did you even Mellow Thing come together to work?
Oh, man. So, there's this one, he's a producer. His name is Eddy. He's from Santa Ana, and I used to kick with him a lot during that time. We used to go to Flying Lotus. He used to have these shows, these like left field like beat scene, like these off tempo beat type stuff in LA at the airliner. It was called Low End Theory, and we used to go, and then one day he told me, hey, instead of going to Low End Theory, let's go to La Cave in Costa Mesa. We could just pregame and like just go to the event. Yeah. And we go over there, and at the time I see my boy Mellow Thing, and we weren't even friends. I just see him, and he was in a band called the Pocket Rockets. And when you hear about the Pocket Rockets, they literally were like the Strokes of that generation, like the sound, everything. Yeah. It was just, I've never heard of a band that was like that accessible to me, that was that good. Yeah. And then Eddy knew him, and Eddy was like, hey, you should talk to my boy Mellow Thing. He makes beats. And at that time, I was just getting done making beats, because I was making beats for Caves before that under Project Caves and Red. And the one thing everybody mentioned was they'd rather hear me rap than make my beats. No to my beats. They're just saying like I was a better rapper, and they love hearing me rap. Then I was just like, fuck it. Like, let's just stick to rap, and let's see what I can do. And then luckily enough, Mellow Thing was like, yo, I'll make beats. And ever since then, we've been like inseparable, bro.
How long ago was that?
Man, maybe like 9 years ago.
Damn, yeah, because La Cave, I was like, that was a throwback. I mean, I don't really go to La Cave anymore, but
everybody, if you're from OC, you remember that spot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's how I feel when you're like talking about like people that are that talented and they're so like accessible. Like that's how I feel about everybody that like you guys that are making all this music. What the fuck, dude?
Sometimes I don't even see it, bro. Like I just. Like I literally probably make like 2-3 songs a week, maybe like 1 to 2 songs. And if it's not with Mellow Thing, it's either me like making beats. And it's just like the only reason I even like earned that kind of work ethic was because Eric does like. I remember at his highest point, this fool's calling me every day. He's like, "Yo, I just made a song today. Yo, I just made a song today. Yo, I just made a song today." And I'm like, "Yo, bro, that's like almost 13 days in a row." Like, what the fuck? and like I said, iron sharpens iron. It's like, okay, if this guy's willing to put this much effort into that, and it's like a daily thing, like the least I can do is just finish 1 or 2 songs a week. You know what I mean? And that's like intro, verse, chorus, hook, like all that. And because of that, like it did teach me how to work under pressure. Like my boy Mellow Things literally had me like show up that like, oh, I'm gonna leave in 30 minutes. Rap on this. Gives me 10 minutes.
Oh my god!
And then we just come out with a full song. And yeah, it's just I don't know if it's the feng shui in the room or him being like one of my best brodies. I just like automatically just feel calm and no pressure to do shit.
It's also the kind of person he is too, right?
I was gonna say,
And you know what? All the weed we smoke does, you know. Just,
you guys are mellowed out for show.
yeah, like fuck. I didn't ever expect that stereotype of motherfucking rappers having to smoke mad blunts, but fuck. Like when we get in the studio, it's like it's nothing but woods and Dutches, and it's just like I'm trying to cut down on the nicotine, but damn, does it make the studio a lot more?
Sometimes that's what you need to get right. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't really speak to it right now on this video, but yeah.
You know what it is too? It's like fuck. Mello's brought in some rappers that are about it, and it's like you see these motherfuckers pull up with like half an ounce. And it's just like,
oh shit,
yo, let's smoke up. And it's like you're forced to like have to smoke like this stogie. And it's just like, fuck it. Like, let's smoke these gorilla fingers and call it a day. And let's make some music. You know?
Feel really good. Yeah. Really loose. So you mentioned Eric. And so I just want to talk about the project real quick. OG Movie I know you guys explain kind of the idea of that.
Well, what ended up happening was, me and Eric have always made music, back when he was 714. And at that time, he was like more focused on like the whole bubbling like era of 714. And then and I remember one time he after he was way he was all good to go ahead and just do music the way he wanted to. He just hit me up and we were just fucking around at the studio in Pico, and we just made one track, and then we fucking loved it. We loved it, and it's a track that's not on the album anymore. Like we ended up just maybe doing that first track, 2 years ago probably. And ever since then, like my boy Eric's like, yo, I got a vision for this, that, and the whole theme that I guess you can say even since the beginning was like something that's hip hop timeless, like something that like you can't particularly put a finger on it, but you can still sound like the modern era with the vintage gear that we use. And yeah, it was probably 2 years ago, just one song, and then from there we made maybe like 15 songs just to choose the top 6 or 7. Yeah.
Damn. No, that project is probably one of my favorites. It is one of my favorites of the year. Scrubs is one of my favorite songs. Because it does sound, you did strike gold when you said like you were looking for that timeless sound. That's exactly what it is. Because you could release that now, or you could release that 20 years ago and it would have fit perfectly.
And I think that was, not to say that was the intention, but it just sort of fell into place. And honestly, fuck, I gotta give props to Mellow. He's worked with my voice and worked with me for so much. Like, he knows the best way to make me like shine. And then shout out to my boy Eric, because he was the one that was just like, let's just make more songs than we need, and we'll just go under it from there. Because honestly, if we would have given you the OG Movie that was gonna first release, it would probably half of it would be songs that you didn't even know. And honestly, they were good. But we wouldn't have the project as solid and hit as hard now if we didn't make those key decisions then. Yeah.
And it was great to see it live in the summer in July when you guys did that release show. That was a great one too.
Thank you, bro.
And yeah, man. So you're building up to Rotten Supreme Truth 3. Tell us about the making of that.
So like, any of my motherfucking the homies that know me. They know that I'm all about like conspiracy, spooky, occults, and like I don't know if I have autism. This is like growing up, there was no testing. So, but I've always obsessed about like aliens, UFOs, spooky things, and I've seen paranormal shit too. And like when I tell people that like I've seen like dolls move or I've like legit astral projected, they always give me bullshit, and it's just like, no, I mean, you can take it as you want. Like I was a skeptic for my longest time. I always lied to myself, like nah, you ain't seen it.
Yeah.
And then once you start looking into it and start seeing the reports of like people having high strangeness in their life, and they all have the same phenomena, like you start saying like, fuck, maybe life is a little bit more than what it seems. But yeah, ever since then, like I always wanted to do something different where I talk a little bit about those occult themes, those spooky themes, especially around Halloween. And like the first Rotten Supreme Truth, I just wanted to talk like conspiracies, poke fun at certain things. And then I had the second one, and that was more trying to meld the ideas of the conspiracy into music. Because like the one thing I never wanted to do, and even though I love Immortal Technique, I didn't want to be Immortal Technique. Because I felt like a lot of times he would give you these like great conspiracy theories that would point fingers and have you like actually looking up these facts and these people. But at the end of the day, it just sounded preachy. And it didn't sound like a song. And even though I love it now, like, and I appreciate what he did, my first and foremost focus was if I have a song that just drops little key elements in it, people will naturally want to look up. If they're interested into the lyrics, they're gonna look up what I'm saying through the lyrics, and then they'll find out certain like keywords that talk about it. And then the third one was like more trying to make the music first in the forefront, and then the conspiracies in the back. Like in the project, one of my favorite topics I've been talking about people is like dogmen. I'm an avid camper. I love going out to camp. I love being out like backpacking. I love like just being out in the rough. And like the last year I just been like going out crazy adventures with my family and just me. And but one of the things that there's always talked about, and especially in the Midwest, is dogmen.
What is that?
Like dogman is like a werewolf. He only supposed to show up like in when there's a full moon, right? Well, dogman, like a lot of reports are talking about people seeing like what looks like a fucking 10-foot wolf, like on its like when it's just on its all four. It looks like a big ass wolf, but the difference is that its arms protrude out instead of in. Yeah. And then the one thing that they all say, and there's been reports from park rangers, there's been reports from people backpacking, that the motherfucker gets on both legs and starts booking it.
What the
and then
fuck?
People say that the number one characteristics that they see is that they see the lights, especially in the darkness, it's red. The eyes are red. They're not yellow. You don't see like just light. It's red. And the one thing, it smells like sulfur and like rotten carcasses everywhere you go. And like I didn't believe that much into it until you start seeing like I started seeing a bunch of videos come out from Pakistan where they had the same reports of like basically these dogmen, and then you see these videos of like very semi-clear footage of what looks like a fucking wolf just booking it past these villagers.
Wow.
And then I've had homies that went to war, and they've said they've seen some spooky shit. They've seen people like literally you're hundreds of miles away from anywhere, and you see motherfuckers that live in fucking caves or like in all black. And it's like you're literally nowhere accessible near a fucking car, nothing. Like they don't know how they survive, but there's people out there, and these guys are rolling through in tanks. But it's just like,
what the hell?
You have
dude?
that, but the thing that you bring back to the dogman is just because I'm always out in the out sticks, and I'm less scared. I'm more scared if I see a dogman than if I were to see a bear, and I've seen like maybe like 8 bears.
Oh my god!
And it's just like the benefit though is in California we have a lot of black bears, so those fools really don't fuck with you. Yeah. They won't mess with you. It's whenever you're out like more to like Oregon or more the Midwest where you deal with the
other kinds of bears.
Yeah, they're grizzly. But brown bears, you're shitting yourself brown. That's how it is.
But you can say something. What? Reyes wants to say something.
So is that like a lot like skinwalkers, right?
Oh, bro. So skinwalkers. Well, you don't even want to mention skinwalkers because culture-wise, they say like, especially since I'm in the sticks, if they know like you're talking bad on them, they will like. In the culture, the Navajo.
So then let's not talk about that.
I just call them SWs. That's it. SWs.
Okay.
But bro, like it makes sense. Like I used to hear my mom talking about like the tales of like her pueblito, where ladies would be able to turn into like ravens and birds. But from what I know from those, the SWs is or not even that I know, but it's a major characteristics because Mayans used to do the same thing where they used to talk about sorcerers that would turn into pumas or jaguars. Yeah. But the one constant or the similar thing that all these cultures have is usually it's a sibling on sibling fight to the death, and whoever survives the fight and kills the other siblings, they're the one that get the power. Wow. But that's it's been around in cultures, and like I don't know if they're dogmen. The one thing that the people say about dogmen is that they just look like werewolves, but they're just like out there. Yeah. But the skinwalkers, like I've heard people say that that like they could turn right then and there, like turn into like human and like
just flip back and forth.
Yeah, like I remember this one guy, he told me a story, and I don't know if I believe him, but this fool, like when he was telling me dead face, like he was like shook, and maybe he saw it. He lived in his truth and told me, but he seen motherfucking like he's turned to cul-de-sacs out in like the sticks.
Yeah.
And it'd be like an old Indian reserve, and they'll just see a guy in a flannel, and he looks normal, has his hair in braids. He turns the cul-de-sac, and all of a sudden his face turns into like a wolf right then and there, starts running at him, and he just books it, and he's like a sober guy. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He does it. It's like
What
your mind could be playing tricks on you, but another reason is like if it was playing tricks on you, why would this guy like run, follow you, and like try to scare you type shit? And it's just like. It depends on your belief. Some people are skeptics. That's totally valid.
Yeah.
I'm just a motherfucking stoner that sees some shit. But,
I feel you. No, and you have to be open to those kind of things. But like you said, that guy, he was completely sober. He just saw that shit happen. But I feel like you also have to be open to having those experiences to receive them. Like you're saying, like
big facts.
You know.
Yeah.
And I believe in that stuff. I don't know what's out there. It could be all true. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. No. I mean. Yeah, it'll make you think. Like I've seen, like I said, I've astral projected.
What does that mean?
So like I've had an out of body experience, and it was just crazy. Like I like the quick short down. I don't want to like just drag on, but
It's all good.
I was just chilling on the couch, and I fell asleep on the couch on my back, and then all of a sudden I started having sleep paralysis. So my eyes were just peering around the room, but I couldn't move my body, and then all of a sudden I just started seeing like a shadow in the corner of the room, just getting closer and closer and closer. And that just scared me so much that I like, just by sheer will, I forced myself to get up. But then when I get up, I see my body still on the floor. And I'm just like, the fuck? And then I started freaking out because then my body just starts floating out of my, like, or my essence. I don't know if the essence or my soul just starts coming out of my body. And I literally start floating, and I get scared. I get scared as fuck. I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, like, I see that shadows, like, outside of my door, and I see that the lights are on, and I see that it's just staring at me, and it looks like a fucking alien. I'm just like, it looks like an alien from a panel, like, you know, you just see the remnants of black eyes and like that. Yeah. And then and that's where like I had like a fight or flight, and I just like, if I'm like, I don't know what's going on, I'm just gonna attack it, and I just ran straight through it, not even trying to open the door, just ran straight through it. I go past the door, and then all of a sudden I'm just like freaking out because I never opened the door, and I just went straight through it. And then I see the whatever entity or whatever is at the corner of my house now, but this time it looks like an alien that's like in like the shittiest like first grader costume. Like you can still tell his eyes are pretty big for like a first grader, like extremely big.
Yeah.
But he's in like a white schoolboy uniform and like blue shorts, and he's just in the corner. And then I start freaking out because while that's happening, I'm just like floating away. And I don't know how to control. I don't know like any of the mechanics. I'm just floating away, and I see myself just getting higher. And then I just like, fuck, I just really want to go down. Really, like, just my will. Like it is, I guess. Well, I go straight down. I go through the roof, and then I go to my mom's room, and I see them sleeping, just right there, moving around. And then I'm just like, what the fuck? And then it just starts making sense. I go to my sister's room, and I see them sleeping, and them moving around and scratching themselves. I'm just like, what the fuck? And I just start panicking, and at that moment, literally, I don't know if you ever seen the Tom and Jerry episode where like he has an out of body experience, but then he decides to go back on into his body and in the same position. I was like, all right, let's do it. I just go and I lay myself back right in position, and literally once the back of my head touches where my body's at, I go up. I take the biggest breath I've ever taken. I like freak the fuck out. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Damn.
For the longest time, I was like, oh, Eddie, you just had a dream. Yeah. Of course, you know, that's what you get for sleeping on your back.
You rationalize it,
Yeah, that's, you know, that's not possible, this and that. Even though I couldn't go to sleep until like the sun was out. Yeah. And then I heard this, basically a lot of similar stories of people having out-of-body experience, and they all say the same thing. It's always like sleep paralysis first. They see they see entities, or they see like a man in a hat, and out of sheer fear of wanting to do something, but they can't because they're in sleep paralysis, their soul just leaves their body. Yeah. And they say the same thing, and they float away. And I was just like, okay, there's multiple people saying this shit. Maybe not. Yeah. But it happened to me, so I'm gonna live that truth. So
I wanted to switch gears just because that story is crazy. You're not going to top it with another one. But so is that why you have such like the artwork that you have on your singles and your projects? It's like kind of scary, spooky looking.
It's very esoteric and very occult. And I mean, the main reason why is so the one thing I've learned from like conspiracies and the occult and all that, a lot of it has to do with symbolism. Like it all has to do with imagery, because you know how they recently just said that the last couple of years, scientists say that our DNA may hold memories that we've held from our ancestors. And since the beginning of time, we've always been able to establish certain symbols. And I feel like because of that, a lot of the conspiracies always say that once you master the symbols and you understand what having a circle means or what having this or that means, you could sort of like persuade people into doing your biddings. And then once you put like what they teach you there into how corporations run their business and why they spend millions of dollars literally getting people who know graphic design and marketing and literally do A/B testing with all these different, marketing firms and different clientele and different audience to see what they can get out of it, you realize like they're sort of like they're doing like what all these conspiracy people talk about symbolism, but they're just doing it in corporate form.
Yeah, like by using certain designs that attract people.
And basically knowing that information, I was like, right, well, let me see what the common things, not to be subversive or anything, but like, right, or if they're gonna use it just to sell fucking poisonous food, and I love Big Macs though, you know what I mean? But why can't I use it a little bit? So I'll just be dropping things, little gems, and the one thing I do love is I love not just say hand drawn art, but like very raw art. Especially when you live in an era where everything's like graphic design, so everything is too pretty, too clean, too cut. And it's just like there's something about like having something like that. It's very, to me, I feel like it's more in tune to me. I'm more accessible to you because you at least know I could do this. You could do this. I'm just like you. Then having someone that's like out of their element or doesn't even know how to relate, because like I've met people that have, I've met artists, not to name any, but like once they start seeing the money, once they start seeing like the fame, and once they start seeing like all that, like it does change them. And then it does become hard to relate to them because like they're on a different path than like that. Like they have money now that they never had to worry about. They have things that they literally like they can't relate. And I the one thing I want to always have done with my music is I want to make it relatable. I don't rap about fucking being a thug. I don't rap about fucking.
You just rap about who you are.
Yeah. Even though I do have some songs where I rap about skunkas, but like that's not me. You know what I mean?
Personal experience.
That's it. You know what I mean? But I do want to, like you said, just being genuine. Make sure people get in tune with me, because like I remember there was this one line or this one song from Isaiah Rashad is "We can be no number one, but we could be the jam, cause what you really on is not my favorite." And I always like appreciated that just cause like, damn, I don't have to be number one. I don't have to sacrifice what I want to do with music.
But you can still be somebody's favorite.
And I can still be somebody's favorite. And that always like resonated with me a lot.
Yeah. Well, you're doing so many good things, and we're gonna have to leave it there just because it was such a great. This is great, man. This is a dope one.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, guys.
We're gonna play a couple of tracks. The new single "Industry," and you wanted to preview something you got coming up too. So I'll give you a second to talk about those two songs.
Yeah. So as far as "Industry," the whole idea with that was Mellow hit me up. So I already had like 3 songs in the chamber for Raw and Supreme Truth 3. And those 3 were more centered around the occult part. I don't want to name them, but the themes were like dogmen, like I just spoke about, like energy vampires, people that you have in your squad that you don't realize like they're just really using you. And then another one was talking about I know a bunch of people that did a lot of hallucinogens, and I've noticed that like they got lost in the sauce. And their personalities and they themselves are not even the same. And because I read about a bunch of like conspiracies and esoteric shit and just like a lot of occult things, one of the things that always like hit me is like a lot of these shamans would do so much hallucinogens on purpose because they wanted to bring the spirit that they met an entity or a pact with on the other side. They wanted to give them access to this world so that they could do their agenda, whatever they need.
Wow.
So I always thought like, a lot of motherfuckers love to be hippies, but they don't know what it takes to get there. But as far as that was for Raw and Supreme Truth, I want to say the B side.
Yeah.
The A side is more in your face and more relatable to people in general. So I made the first one about industry was I met so many motherfuckers in the rap game that they'll be your best buddy just to get something out of you. If it's not a beat, it's for recording time, or it's for a feature, or for a post, this and that.
No, yeah, I mean, 7 years doing this. Same.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I'm a big fan of relationships. Like if I can't actually like kick it with you outside of it, it's like, what's the point? Like, I never wanted to be in the industry. If not, I would have been fucking dick riding over in LA. Not to say anything about LA like that, because I always go to LA. That's my favorite spot as well. But there is a clear difference in how people maneuver, especially when they want to go super Hollywood. Like they're just brown nosing up the ass. And I see it all the time, and not just it's everywhere. It's everywhere. LAOC, IE, whatever the fuck it is. I never wanted to do that. I just wanted to do dope shit with motherfucking valid people that I know that our shit will stand the test of time. Because a lot of people, they in the industry, they just fucking they think you have to be a certain way to do what you need to do, and it's like, nah, bro, we're in the best time you can be. Like, if you really give a fuck about your art and you really care about what you're gonna put in, you're gonna make sure that it comes through, and you just give away with all the fucking people that are just industry cats. And it was just me getting my angst out of the industry. Nice. And then the second one is called Kukoi, and it's basically, I want to say, like a spiritual successor to the industry, where I'm just really I'm trying to attack all these fucking rappers in the game, because they're just doing the same thing, and I'm always going to be taking risks, and you're always going to be lame type shit. Like, type vibes, type beat.
I feel you. All right, well, we're going to play those 2 tracks. Eddy Rotten, thank you for being here. It was a great interview.
Guys.
Follow him on Instagram at Eddy_Rotten. That's EDDY_Rotten on Instagram.
Oh, can I just shout out one thing?
Yeah.
So I'm just doing a thing with the Delhi Center and Urban Creators. We're just doing a fundraiser, so if you can, just look at my post or hit up Urban Creators on Instagram, and just doing a fundraiser for Christmas, just for the less forcate. Just wanted to throw it out there.
Is that later this month?
Yeah, so we're gonna be collecting stuff during this month. But yeah, just a quick shout out.
Yeah, we'll repost that too.
Thank you.
All right, let's play those 2 tracks, and then Mono's gonna go into a mix. And thank you once again, Eddy Rotten.
Thank you, guys.